I'm going to show you how to solve the mysterious Negg cave puzzle on Neopets. This is a daily, so you can do it every single day. Reward some decent prizes. The best one that I've gotten is the Ultimate Icy Negg, which is worth around 200,000 Neopoints, and it counts towards a gourmet food, which is pretty cool. But basically, you have this 3x3 grid, and you also have these different options. Now, you have the water, fire, and wind. So we're going to have one of every single element, and each of the elements will have a different color. So when the board is done, it's going to have 3 of the water. So you have the yellow water, red water, blue water. You're also going to have 3 of the fire. So you're going to have a blue fire, red fire, yellow fire, and then you're going to have 3 of the wind. So it's not going to look like this, but this is an example of a solved board. So you would have 3 of each of them on the board. Now, you also have these clues to help you out over here. Some of them are going to be really easy. Some of them will be a little more difficult, but I'm going to show you how you can do it. Now, you can also clear the whole board with clear all, or you can clear individual ones by clicking on them after you hit the clear. So what we see right here is we have this whole board. So it's got the entire board on this one. And so we know automatically that the top row is going to look like this. So we're going to have the red wind, we're going to have the red fire, and then we're going to have a red here. But as you may notice, we already have the other 2 reds, which means the only other red that it could be is the water. So we can solve that top layer right here. Now we also have this blue row here, but it shows that there is a blank row underneath of it, meaning that it would have to be the top row or the middle row. And it can't be the bottom row because it has 3 blanks below it. But since we already have the top row solved, we can then go to the blue. So we've got the blue water right there. Got the blue wind right here. And just like last time, we have the blue here, but we know that the only one left is the fire. So we can solve that. So now, because we have the reds and the blues already solved, we can already put, it's going to be yellows down here. We already know that. And now we can see we have the fire and the water. And since there's a blank here, we know that it has to be in the bottom left. So we can do this right here. Click there. Click there. And then the last one has to be this. Now, if you already have the color placed down, you don't need to have the color selected. So if you want to kind of quickly do it, you can be a little bit faster that way. And I believe this should be correct. When you're done, hit submit. Sometimes it'll say something went wrong and you'll have to refresh and do the whole thing. That doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. So now hit submit. And of course, we get the something went wrong. Now, this is a correct board, but unfortunately, sometimes Neopets just does not work correctly. And so you'll have to refresh and do it again. So that's an example of what I was just talking about. But if you try to remember what it was, it can make it a little bit faster. So we're going to have to refresh, unfortunately. And we'll put it out real quick now because we know what the board looks like. And there we go. Now we're done. Hit submit. And there we go. We got an aquatic arrangement. So now here is another example. Not all of them are going to be this easy, but I'll show you what I kind of do for a little bit more difficult ones after. So as you see, we have this left bar and top bar, and we know it's going to be right here because that's the only way that can fit on the board. So we're going to start there, go here, and kind of fill this out. And now with this completed, the only way this can fit is right here. But you have to be careful because sometimes they do overlap. That can happen. These are not always individual ones. So for example, if this one was the same as this and this one was the same as this, we would know that it would have to go right here. But since it's not the same, since they're all unique, we know that they are not going to be touching each other at all. So the only way that fits is right here. And we can just kind of make that right there. And then we're good to go. Now we see we have 3 blues and 3 yellows, meaning this one has to be red. And we also see that the one we're missing is fire, so it has to be fire. We'll submit it, and we're good right there. So not all of them are going to be that easy. Here's an example of one that's a little more difficult that doesn't have any guaranteed ones right off the bat. So my strategy for this is to look at the ones that have the 3, and I know that can only go right here or right here. So I'll kind of place it right here in my head and see if there's any ones that kind of would contradict that. So if you compare this top left one to the bottom right one, you'll see that there's no way that the bottom right one can be on the bottom row because both examples of the top left one will contradict it. So it can't go right here and can't go right here. So we know this top left one will be red, and then this one on the right in the middle will be water. So you can then kind of go from there and solve it out. So that's how you get started with that puzzle, and you can kind of just go from there. I'm going to leave a link to the site, the Jelly Neo site, that really goes in depth about this specific puzzle. I'm also going to leave a link in the description to a solver you can use if you're really struggling with it, but I think it's just easier to kind of solve them, and also a little bit more fun and rewarding to solve it yourself. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I could try to help you out if you're confused about anything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and subscribe for more videos like these in the future. I'll see you next time.